and welcome back to my channel. Happy Makes Me, and today I am so excited because I am sharing the full tutorial to make this DIY shirred dress. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, make sure you hit that red subscribe button and ding the notification bell to find out when new videos post, because I share sewing, DIY, and handmade projects like this every single week. So yeah, it's a good time here. It's fun. So if you follow me on Instagram, you probably have seen me wearing this dress because I have been sharing it like crazy lately. I am completely obsessed. I made a version of this shirred dress, the one that I'm wearing, a couple of weeks ago, and I have been wearing it nonstop ever since. And even though we're going into fall, it's still hot as balls here. It's gonna be hot for a little while, so I figured I have to do it. I have to make another one, and I might as well show you guys how to make your own as well. And what I love about this project is that it's something that you could easily throw together in an afternoon. It's a really quick sew. Really the only tricky part is the shirring, which it's not even hard, it's just a little more time consuming. If you've never done shirring before and you're not sure if you want to shirr, you can check out my blog. I will link to it in the description box below, but I have an entire blog post with tips for shirring and troubleshooting, so if you've never done it before, it's actually a lot easier than you think. What's even better about this dress is that you make it using a couple squares of fabric based on your measurements, and it even has pockets, so what is not to love? So all you're gonna need for this project is just some woven fabric like this and some shirring elastic. And that's it. Let's get started. We're going to start by getting your measurements for the dress. First, measure your bust all the way around. Then, starting from your general armpit area, measure down to get your desired length for the dress. Oh no, time to do some math. It's okay, it's actually really easy. First thing you're going to do is take your bust measurement and divide it by 2. For example, my bust is 41 inches, divided by 2 is 20.5 or 20.5 inches. Then you take that measurement and multiply it by 1.5, which gave me 30.75 inches, and then add 1 inch for your seam allowance. So based on my body measurements, I cut my fabric 31.75 inches wide. Then we're going to find the length. To get your measurement for the tier at the bottom, you're going to take your total desired length. So for mine, I wanted it to be 36 inches, divide it by 3, and that gave me 12 inches. So I decided to cut my bottom tier at a height of 12 inches with my longest possible measurement for fabric. Using your measurements, it's time to cut your squares of fabric. So for my main body pieces, I cut my fabric 31.75 inches wide by 24 inches long. Cut 2 pieces using the same measurement for the front and back of the main body of your dress. Then it's time to cut your tier. To be honest, my fabric wasn't long enough to make my tier super gathered. I'm not mad at it. For reference, my fabric was only 45 inches wide, so I made 2 panels that were 12 inches by 45 inches, and the width is really up to you. The wider your tiers are, the fuller your gather is going to be. But like I said, I'm actually really happy with the end result, so take it or leave it. Next, we're going to cut 4 strips of fabric to make up the ties at the shoulders. So for reference, I made mine only about 1 inch wide, but you can make them wider if you prefer in order to hide a bra strap. Just adjust the measurements based on your preferences. But for reference, I cut each of my pieces 21 inches by 2 inches wide, and I cut 4 individual pieces of fabric to make up the straps. And last, this step is technically optional, but I don't know why you wouldn't want to add pockets to your dress. I'm including the link to this free pocket pattern piece from Caley and the Buttons in the description box below. But all you're going to do is just take this pattern piece and cut 4 pocket pieces. Side note, if you are obsessed with donuts like me, I have a tutorial on my YouTube channel for these DIY polymer clay donut pattern weights. I am fully obsessed. Look how cute they are. So if you're into that, just make sure you look in the description box. I will link to that as well. First, finish off the sides of your pocket pieces. You can either use a serger or the zigzag stitch on a sewing machine, just like I'm doing here. This will help prevent the fabric from fraying later on. Next, measure how far down you would like your pockets to sit and mark them using a water erasable pen. I set mine about 10 inches down from the top of the dress. Then pin your pockets in place on both the front and back dress pieces. Sew your pockets in place. Then press your pocket pieces away from the dress. Top stitch along the pocket piece close to the seam. Lay the front dress panel on top of the back dress panel, right sides facing, matching your pockets and side seams. Pin in place. Sew along the side seams and pocket pieces of your dress. Once you reach the pocket, insert your needle, lift your presser foot, and pivot your fabric to go along the curve of the pocket. Finish off your side seams using your preferred method. You can use a zigzag stitch or a serger. Since my fabric wasn't really prone to fraying, I just used pinking shears, and then press your side seams either open or towards the back. It also helps to turn your fabric right side out, giving it a good press on the sides and pressing your pockets in place. Next, we're going to work on the gathered tier at the bottom of the dress. To do that, place both panels on top of each other, right sides facing, and pin in place at the side seams. Sew together the side seams using a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Finish the seams using your preferred method and press open or towards the back. Set your machine to the longest stitch length possible. Sew 3 rows of gathering stitches, each a 1/4 inch apart, starting at the top of your fabric. Next, pull on your thread tails to gather your fabric, making sure to distribute your gathers as evenly as possible. Once your tier is gathered to about the same width as the bottom of your dress, pin in place to the bottom of your dress with right sides facing. Stitch in place. Next, remove all gathered stitches from the bottom tier. And finish off your seams using your preferred method. Then, press your seams up towards the top of the dress. Now we're going to hem the dress, both the top and the bottom. Do this by turning your fabric up a 1/4 inch and press, then turn it up a 1/4 inch again, press, and pin in place. Do this for both the bottom and the top of your dress. Stitch in place. With your hemmed dress, right side out, mark how far down you would like your shirring to go. For reference, I did mine about 8 inches to cover my bust, but you can totally customize it to your preferred length. If you're new to shirring, you can also mark out where you would like your shirring lines to go. I cheated though with my gingham and just went along all the tiny squares, so that's also a good tip if this is your first shirring project. Next, adjust your sewing machine settings for shirring. I usually have to increase the bobbin tension. Using the tiny screw on the side, I turn it to the right. I turn the machine tension up to about a 7, and I increase my stitch length to a 4. The longer your stitch length, the more gathered your shirring is going to be. But like I said, I do have a blog post that goes over how to shirr if you are new to it. So I will be sure to link that in the description box below so that you can check it out for more tips on how to set up your machine for shirring. So like I mentioned before, shirring actually isn't that complicated. It is time consuming though, so I kind of skipped ahead for the interest of time. As you're going along your shirring rows, your fabric will continue to gather up. So make sure that with your subsequent rows, you're pulling your fabric straight in order to properly gather your fabric. Once you're all done with your shirring rows, hit that elastic with some steam from your iron to shrink it up a little bit more. Then give your shirred bodice a little bit of a press. Next, take your fabric straps and fold them in half lengthwise. Press in place. Sew along the open edges of the straps, leaving one edge open at the bottom. Trim the corners of your fabric, and then using something like a knitting needle or a pencil, whatever long pointy object you have, turn your straps right sides out. Fold in the opened edge of the strap. Now give all your strappy tubes a good press. Okay, we're all going to be cool about the fact that you can see my bra straps, okay? Because it's actually super helpful. If you intend to wear this dress with a bra and you made your straps big enough to cover them, it's a smart idea to try on your dress now and see where you want your straps to sit so that they can cover your bra straps, or you can measure inward from the side seam to see where you would like your straps to sit. I did mine about 5 inches in from the side seam on both the front and the back of the dress. Pin them in place. Next, sew your straps in place. Give the whole shebang a good press. And what do we think of the end result? So that's it! I hope you had fun making this DIY shirred dress with pockets and a tiered ruffle hem. If you end up using this video to make your own version of this dress, make sure you tag me on Instagram. I would love to see your version of it. I love following along with your makes, so yes, make sure that we're friends on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching and joining me in my sewing spacement. That's what I'm calling it, because it's my sewing space in my basement. It's my sewing spacement. You get it. I don't need to explain it. You get it. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and ding the notification bell so that you can find out when my next video posts. Like I said, I post sewing, DIY, and handmade videos like this every single week, and I will see you guys soon. Thanks again for watching. I love you so much and have the best day ever. Bye!